They kicked her out of first class for a white mania that happened. By the time we landed, the whole flight crew was out of a job, and I promise you, nobody saw it coming, least of all the folks who thought they could size me up before asking my name. Let me back up a sec and lay it out for you. I got to the airport early that morning, Louis Armstrong in New Orleans, coffee in hand, laptop under my arm ready. My flight was heading to San Francisco, seat 1A, first class window, right where I'd chosen. It wasn't about the view, honestly. I picked that spot so I could breathe, so nobody would have to climb over me. So for once in this wild world, I could have just a little peace and control. You know what I mean? I dressed sharp, but never flashy navy pantsuit. White sneakers, hair braided up neat, not a strand out of place. Folks usually look at me and see someone who knows exactly where she's headed, and they're right. I'm early everywhere because I hate the feeling of being rushed, and this trip, well, I had a lot riding on it. Boarding was smooth. I scan my pass, nod at the agent, and step on board. I pull my bag up, slide in my seat, and breathe out. I can almost hear my grandma telling me, "Girl, keep your head." That moment, that peace didn't last. My phone's in my hand, just double-checking my notes, when the flight attendant appears beside me. Blonde, sharp smile, you know the type. "Miss Monroe," she asks, overly polite, voice so careful it almost stings. I look up and nod. "Yes." "I'm so sorry, but there's been a mix-up with your seat." I blink because no, there hadn't. I picked this seat myself. She just apologizes again, tells me there's another passenger assigned to 1A, and asks if I'll move to 24 middle seat. Coach, right by the bathroom. Yeah, that's not a mix-up, that's a message. I'd flown enough to know the code. I told her, "I'd prefer to stay here while you work it out." My voice is steady, eyebrow up, but she's not budging. Unfortunately, we need to seat the other passenger immediately. He's a Platinum Plus Elite member and requested this seat specifically. I glance at the boarding door just in time to see a white man, maybe mid-50s, expensive coat, AirPods already in, just glides on like the whole plane belongs to him. Never even looks at me. I don't argue. I don't cause a scene. That's not my style. I quietly hit record on my phone, stand, collect my things, and walk back to row 24. The man slides into 1A like it's his birthright. The flight attendant beams at him warmth I hadn't seen all day. I settle between a teenager blasting music and a guy hacking up a lung, still not saying a word. 5 minutes in, that seat switch is the least of their problems. See, I'm nobody's assistant, not some +1 hoping for an upgrade. My name's Danielle Monroe, founder and CEO of Foresight Logic, a cybersecurity company I built from nothing in Durham, North Carolina. 3 months before, my little startup sold for almost $500 million to Interglobe, Holdings, the same company that owns this airline, Sky Connect. Irony, right? Just before boarding, I've been on a video call with Interglobe COO, wrapping up a deal for my company to overhaul Sky Connect's whole passenger data system. My name's all over those emails. But you wouldn't know that looking at me. That's what always got me, never the ignorance, always the assumption. I'd spent years in rooms full of men who looked right past me, talking over my head to my own engineers, asking if I was with catering at tech conferences where I was the keynote speaker. After a while, you stop correcting people. You just keep a list in your head, like I did with that flight attendant. So I'm in 24C, knees pressed to the seat, holding that video on my phone clear as day, the exchange, the refusal, the indifference. I watch it twice, not because I need proof, but because I want to remember. I never go straight to social media. I don't need applause. I move quietly until I don't. A few minutes later, my phone buzzes. Tasha, my executive assistant, sends a message. The press kit's live on the conference site. My face is right there at the top. Danielle Monroe, CEO, Foresight Logic, opening remarks, Innovation Summit. I smile a little, type back. Let's see if they know who I am now. Then I write an email, not to my lawyers, not yet. I go right to the COO. Subject: Incident on Flight 226, Sky Connect Airlines. I keep it short. Earlier today, I was removed from my assigned seat in 1A without cause or proper explanation. A white male passenger was given the seat instead. I was moved to coach despite VIP status and a confirmed reservation. This is a matter of policy and principle. I expect a response. Send. Didn't expect to hear back fast. It was a Saturday. Most execs off the grid. But Rhett Wallace, COO, isn't like most. Foresight Logic had saved Sky Connect from a massive data breach last year. 30 million records. Nearly leaked. My team fixed it, patched it, kept it off the news. I know how quickly word moves at the top. Flight climbs, seatbelt light dings. I'm still typing, elbows squished, head ducked under the flickering light, while the crew hands out snacks and makes small talk like nothing happened. The lead flight attendant comes by again, tone suddenly different. Is there anything I can get you, Miss Monroe? I look at her, stone cold. No, thank you. She knows now. Maybe the manifest, maybe the galley gossip, but too late, the harm's done. Then, the twisted teenage girl a couple rows up whispers to her mom. That's the lady from the cyber conference posters. I don't turn around, but it hits me. They know my face, just not my worth. Not yet. First class, meanwhile, is dead, quiet. A man in 1A is passed out, shoes off, living the good life. I close my eyes, not out of anger, but calculation. People show you who they are, believe them. The airline showed me. The attendant showed me. Now it's my turn. Suddenly, the crew's attitude flips. You ever see fear ripple down an aisle? That's what it looks like when the big bosses make a call. The flight attendant's posture goes stiff, eyes dart to the front. She starts glancing at her tablet like it might explode. Then the whispers start by the cockpit door. I check my phone. Tasha again. FYI, Interglobe PR called. They want to know if you're on 226. You good? I reply. Very. Now, the flight attendant is back. This time, she's nervous. MS. Monroe, we've been notified of a significant error in the seating arrangement. Your seat is available again in first class. We'd be happy to move you. I just look at her. Did the passenger leave? She hesitates, heifered to switch. Or is he told? Doesn't matter. I'll stay here, I say. You're sure? I'm sure. I want them to sit with what they've done. But I do want something else. I want to talk to the captain before we land. She looks rattled, says she'll let him know. The cabin is watching now, picking up on tension-side glances, clipped voices, folks sensing that something big just went down. I replay the video, this time a little louder, enough for the woman next to me to hear. She doesn't say a word, but someone else leans over. That's messed up. Meanwhile, thousands of feet below, Interglobe's boardroom is on fire. Rhett Wallace, my email still open on his screen, gets a call from Candace in PR. We have a situation, she says. Tweets are already flying, a vague one from Tasha, not naming names, but enough that people are connecting the dots. Imagine building a company for 12 years, selling it for $500 million, and still getting bumped from first class because you don't look the part. It's spreading. Journalists are sniffing around. Corporate disaster. Rhett's out of his chair, barking orders. Get someone to meet her in San Francisco. I want full reports, crew IDs, manifest logs, everything. This man isn't messing around. Back in the air, the captain himself finally comes to see Mezal, tan pepper hair, nervous as a rookie. MS. Monroe, I want to personally apologize. This doesn't reflect our standards. I look up. Would the same thing have happened if I looked like him? I nod toward 1A. The captain's jaw works, but he says nothing. That's what I thought. Save it for your HR file, I say, and he walks away, passengers' eyes tracking every move. The vibe in the cabin has shifted. Everyone knows, even if they don't know all the details. We land, wheels down smooth, but the tension is so thick you could cut it. I don't rush off the plane. Never do. The man from 1A glides out first, never looks back, probably never will. I'm last to leave, and there are two men in suits waiting. No name tags, just Interglobe emblems on their clipboards. MS. Monroe, we've been instructed to escort you to the executive lounge. The COO would like to speak with you directly. Now. Terminal 3, San Francisco. I walk with him calm, composed. People notice. One woman even stops to snap my picture. Inside the lounge, Rhett Wallace is waiting. He stands when I enter. Expensive sweater, tired eyes, that look of a man who's been fighting fires all day. Danielle, thank you for coming. I don't sit. He offers a formal apology in behalf of Sky Connect, Interglobe, and himself. An apology doesn't fix a pattern, I tell him. It just patches a symptom. He nods, tells me the crew's been suspended, pending termination. Quick justice. You were removed from a reserved seat by a team that failed protocol and equity. If I didn't have your number, this would be an even bigger PR nightmare. He says it straight. Then he asked me to join their internal review board. Equity, policy, flight protocol, no NDA. He wants help fixing what they couldn't even see was broken. I cross my arms. I'm not here to clean up your mess. I didn't build this system. But here's what I'll do. I'll speak at your next leadership summit. On stage. On record. I'll tell this story about who gets seen, who gets silenced. What it means when a black woman is quietly moved to the back and nobody blinks. After that, I'll decide if I want to help you fix it. I pick up my bag and leave. Back straight. Message delivered. The headlines drop the next morning. Calm. Factual, but the truth rings out. Black CEO removed from first class for white passenger. Crew fired. Corporate shakeup. But the real story isn't about a seat, it's about what happens when someone with real power gets underestimated, then speaks so clearly nobody can look away. I never post a video. I don't need to. I give my talk at the Interglobe Summit 2 weeks later, stand in front of hundreds of execs, nothing in my hand but a wireless mic and their attention. I tell the story like I'm talking to my neighbors. Describe the moment, the tone, the smile, the weight of always being watched, being doubted, having to prove yourself just to be allowed in the room. And when I finish, I say, you don't have to mean harm to cause it, but once you see the harm, your next move is your character. The applause is real. Not polite, real. A few directors ask me to help fix their hiring, their diversity, their culture. I don't say yes to everything. I don't say no either. A few weeks later, a woman who watched the whole thing on my flight sends me a handwritten note. You didn't say a word, and still everyone heard you. Thank you. I keep that letter. Not for pride, but for the ones still watching, wondering if they're the only ones. They're not. Now they know. If you made it this far, ask yourself, when's the last time you saw something unfair and stayed silent? Don't wait. Be the one who stands up. Because silence protects power, and unchecked power just keeps on repeating. Speak. Stunt. Even if your seat feels safe, stand for the ones who can't. No, let's hear what you think. Was Danielle right to handle it quietly, or should she have made it public? Where's the line between dignity and disruption, justice and revenge? Drop your take below. Whose seat are you really protecting?